future. We can help your dreams come true. A degree that gets you the right job. It's affordable and easy for you. Asnuntuck Community College. Friendly people that know who you are. Asnuntuck Community College. A college so close that can take you so far.
Hello and welcome to all our viewers out there. This is Changing Lives. My name is President James Lambella from Asnuntuck Community College and Tunxis Community College. I'm excited about today's episode because I've had so many residents and individuals corner me in the community and say, how do you do it? How do you do it with continual budget cuts? And how do we contribute to education and to our community? So I have two special guests with me today that I'm excited to have on board. I have Keith Madore joining us today. Keith is the Director of Institutional Advancement with Asnuntuck Community College. And I have Chris Casey from Chris Casey Concepts, who's president of Chris Casey Concepts, event coordinator. And we're going to talk about fundraising. We're going to talk about education, how you can get involved, how you can contribute to students and to our community. And I'm going to start off today with Keith. Tell us a little bit about your job. What does it mean to be the Director of Institutional Advancement at a community college?
I think foremost, thanks for having me, Jim. And I think it's most importantly that for me, connecting the community and the understanding of education in the community and support to the students. I think there's a good bridge between Asnuntuck Community College and the community at large, understanding that higher education is really the key to anybody that might be a displaced worker, a traditional student coming out of college, or someone that's finally finding their way after being married for 20 years and raised their kids and like, look, I've always wanted to be an accountant, but I've never had the time. So I think making that understanding to the community, but the type of students that we graduate is very important, and I think that they go out in the community and do good things and support what's happening in the community. When I think of the community, I think of Enfield, I think of Suffield and Summers, and as far as East Windsor and even Windsor and everything that we've been doing. I think it's important that the community understands that the college education is not inexpensive, that it's sometimes oftentimes what you call something that they want to be able to achieve but can't afford with the barriers. And you've often described that between transportation and childcare and the costs of tuition. Absolutely. So I think Asnuntuck does a very good job of trying to remove those barriers for those students. But they need help, and that's where those community partnerships come into play, whether it's to assist a student or to assist a college directly with assisting with programming in the business department, the biology lab, the art classes. I think that those are some of the things that I focus on in building those community connections. And it goes as far as reaching out to alumni, to business partners, to people in the medical field, to people in the business field, to people in the manufacturing industry.
And I completely agree with you. I often say, childcare, transportation, affordability really impacts their barriers for education for our students. And just so that our viewers understand, the foundation and the college are actually two separate entities. So the foundation is a 501c3, correct, which is a nonprofit organization, and their mission is to support the college, to support learning. So our giving arm of the college that receives funds, whether it's in kind, whether it's a cash donation, whether it's services, is done through our foundation. And then the foundation board decides how to disperse those funds, whether it's in scholarships, correct, or so forth. And we'll talk a little bit more as we go forward. But I want to first introduce Chris Casey. And Chris, tell us a little bit about Chris Casey Concepts and your involvement in the college and education and fundraising and so forth, so that the viewers understand, who you are and how you're connected to Asnuntuck.
Thanks, Jim, for having me.
Absolutely.
Chris Casey Concepts is basically a marketing and special events company. I also do any of the things that are associated with marketing, like promotional products, so it's kind of all-inclusive. And I've been involved with the college. Well, I was a student at the college. I went along, right? Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, and I became involved many years ago with the first event I did there was the annual murder mystery.
So that was the first.
That was the first.
Mystery.
15 years ago.
This will be the 15th one.
And that's one people ask me about, what exactly is a murder mystery? It's a question I often get. So explain to our viewers what the murder mystery is.
What a murder mystery is, it's a dinner theater.
Dinner theater.
So the guests that are at the dinner theater, they have the opportunity that we usually have dinner first because that seems to make the most sense.
Sure.
People come on a Friday evening and they're hungry. So we have dinner, we have cocktails, and then we go in and the event starts. This year, it's up on the screen now, it's Cafe Murder.
Ah, there you go, Cafe
Every
Murder.
year, it's something different. But this year, I'm especially excited because for the, oh no, that's a scary one.
Oh, that was
last
there you
year.
go.
That
That
was
was,
fun.
that
Yeah.
was what, a year
Yeah, a
before
couple
one.
years
There you
ago.
go.
Yeah, so
And there's the
every
whole
year,
cast.
the
There you go.
whole event is different. A new script is decided on. We have a committee that puts it together. And that committee is really responsible for deciding on the script. We historically have had it the last Friday in March.
Yeah.
Seems like good timing after, the winter starts winding down.
Sure.
This year, it's not the last Friday because the last Friday is Good Friday.
Okay.
So it's the 23rd. And the committee is also very helpful with securing sponsorship. As with any event, it's
Sure.
the sponsors that really bring the dollars to the event.
Sure.
We also have a silent auction. We have a live auction. So it's a great evening of fun. Guests arrive. They have cocktails and hors d'oeuvres. We go in for dinner. Then the play will start. During the cocktail hour and dinner, though, our cast is very interactive. So most members will get to meet the cast. And this year, it's going to be even more interactive. But I don't want guests to get the wrong idea. They're not going to be pulled out of their seats.
Okay, that's good to know.
Or brought to the stage. Interactive in the sense that it will be up to them to figure out who the murderer is. It's a murder mystery.
It's a murder mystery,
So
okay.
it is a fun event, and it's been received well in the community all these years.
Excellent. And these are not scripts that are made up by the committee. This is actually ones we go out and purchase. These are true
True
plays,
scripts.
true scripts,
Right.
whether they're on Broadway or cabarets or those type of things.
Correct.
So they decide on what script they're going to go. We actually purchase that, and then there's a long process involved in rehearsals and commitment from the individuals on these cast members. Kind of walk us through that process.
So the committee actually decides on the script. What makes most sense for the timing, the number of characters. Is it feasible if there's 10 characters? Are there 10 wonderful community people that really want to come out and spend every Monday evening?
Community actors, they're all actors.
Well, they're
Actors,
community people. They turn into actors.
Actors, there you go.
Some of them have not ever acted before.
Sure.
Which is really exciting, and they've all been fabulous over the years. So they'll come out. We start the first Monday after New Year's, every Monday night through March, and usually the week before the play, the week of the play, we add in a few more rehearsals so that everyone's comfortable.
Sure.
So it is a big commitment.
I was going to say,
It is a very
there's
big
a time
commitment.
invested in this. There's lots of rehearsals, and it truly is a fun show. And having a few years ago, Chris convinced me to do a skit in the halftime show or during intermission, and I believe I was up there making guacamole.
You
and
were.
we did a commercial, but it truly is a way to engage the stakeholders, the community members, the sponsors in the room, and kind of have an evening. To me, it's an evening of fun. It's really looking at the silent auctions, being able to pick up something for a great cause, but then also having that interactive part with dinner, being able to watch a live show, and it kind of unfolds right in front of you. And you start hearing, last year I kind of watched, and it was right after halftime, my table started talking about, oh, I think it's this one's the murderer, I think it's this one's the murderer, and then you see everybody getting engaged, and really is a fun evening. There's opportunities to sponsor the murder mystery. As kind of tell us, well, what do the sponsorships look like, from purchasing
The
a ticket all the way
sponsor-
through
So the sponsorships, we have lead sponsors going into it, United Bank and Johnson Memorial Hospital and
Sure.
Mohegan Sun.
Excellent.
They stepped up with large sponsorships. And then from there, we have $2,500 sponsorships down to $100 business card ad sponsors. So what I try and say to people is, if you want to attend the event, which of course we want everyone to, is take a look at the sponsorships, because most of the higher level sponsorships come with guest seats.
a couple tickets
Exactly.
or multiple
So,
tickets.
and those range from $200, and you get a half-page ad. So not only are you attending,
Sure.
but it's showing that you're supporting the college at the same time.
And get some publicity if you're a business or if you'd
Exactly.
like. Yeah.
Sure, or to show your commitment to.
And then there are folks
education.
that really want to support the community and get their business name out there, but they really can't go that night. So we have $100 business card ads.
Sure.
And what I try and tell the committee when they're going out and soliciting is that those ads could be used as coupons. So those business card ads, which I'm really trying
True.
to push this year,
Yeah.
is that use it as a coupon. because that will encourage
Great.
people to hold on to their
And go to their
program.
business.
They could go to a restaurant, they could go to the dry cleaners, anywhere
That's a great
they
idea.
are, and they'll have that coupon to use. And it's not like a program that may be put in a drawer. It's a program that will be kept
Kept
because
and,
there's
and
value.
clipped, and
value
people love
add.
coupons.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And it also
Yeah.
helps the business or the sponsor then gauge of how many returns, on
Exactly.
their investment on a business card sponsorship or so forth. Interesting. And the murder mystery raises on average 30.
This year's goal is 30,000, so it's been
$30,000,
in the $25,000 range. But this year, with it being moved to the college, we felt there was a greater opportunity.
Sure.
That there would be people that would want to support the college in general.
Absolutely.
So the goal this year is a little hefty. It's $30,000.
It grosses 40, 45, right?
Right, but
yeah.
the net amount to the college would be 30,000.
And when you think about $30,000, the number of scholarships and the number of support that those funds can then give students, can give the college, I mean, truly is. And our foundation's been wonderful, from helping us put in a state-of-the-art Mac lab to helping us with textbook emergency scholarship funds for our students to straightforward scholarships for students. So a whole array of ways that this foundation then uses those funds to help Asnuntuck and help students. So looking forward to this year's, is Murder Cafe, is it?
Cafe Murder.
Cafe Murder, okay. And it's the 23rd of March. So everybody mark your calendars for that as well. The other big event, the other big fundraiser for Asnuntuck is our golf tournament.
Right.
So talk to us a little about the history of the golf tournament and kind of what goes on that day, and why would somebody want to come to Asnuntuck's golf tournament?
Well, first of all, anyone that loves to golf, that doesn't get the opportunity to golf on a private golf course, that would be, aside from the reason that you're golfing,
Sure.
that would be an incentive. Is that Twin Hills Golf Course in Long Meadow is beautiful. You
Agreed.
can't play there unless you're a member or you're a guest of a member, so it is an opportunity. We have one of our sponsors, Dr. Tuig, who actually worked there as a child. So he loves coming back every year because it gives him the opportunity.
Sponsors every year.
And here,
Yeah.
there's some photos that are up
Photos
on the
of
screen
last
now.
year's golf tournament, sure, in previous years.
So the golf tournament also raises significant funds. So there's actually, I think, Dr. Tuig, is that?
I think so, yeah.
It could be. The golf tournament raises significant funds as well for the foundation.
Sure.
And you would come out and have a great lunch provided by Twin Hills. You'd go out and golf, 18 holes of golf on a beautiful course. We've been very lucky in having good weather. You get to golf and socialize with business leaders in the community.
Absolutely.
So again, the folks from Johnson Memorial are there. The folks from United Bank are there. We have USA Hauling. They come in and they golf. So it's really a great event to network. It's not just about raising funds, which it is, and that's the ultimate
goal, absolutely.
goal of it. But you also have the opportunity to meet, socialize with business leaders, a great day on the course, fabulous lunch, wonderful dinner.
Excellent. Now, I had a lot of students corner me in the last couple of years, and one of our massage therapy students said, I was out on the 9th hole and we were giving chair
Okay,
massages
they
to the
were.
golfers. You and I drove around in the cart and we were handing out chocolates and candy. And really, there's different things going on at different holes, and the students are interactive there as well, too, to some extent. So it really is a fun day. I've had the ones that I've attended, and since I started here, I've absolutely enjoyed the golf tournament, the weather. I think we've hit all good ones.
We've had, I'm not going to talk
I
too
know,
soon,
I was going to say,
but-
we don't want to
but
jinx
yeah,
us, but
we've been very lucky with
weather's
the
important too.
weather.
And some of the things too, I know, I remember you could purchase,
We have different games and contests
yes, so
that are on the
talk a little
course.
about that,
So
makes it a fun day.
some of the things that you could, if you're not a great golfer, even if you are, we have the mulligans.
Well, that's what I
So
was
if you want to
thinking
take a couple of extra shots, you could pay to take a couple of extra shots.
There you go.
We have contests out on the course, so we have this little poker game that you can play while you're out on the course. And then the evening, we always have an auction as well, and some great prizes.
Oh, silent auction during the day too, right? Or
Silent, silent
yeah,
auction,
yeah.
and we have a live auction.
Live
And
auction, the called auction,
Called
yeah.
auction.
Oh, yeah, lots of fun.
yeah, that
Two
is a
fun
lot of
ways
fun.
to support Asnuntuck, between the murder mystery, dinner theater, and then go right into golf. So I think whether you're wanting to swing and your golf club, and or if you're wanting to eat and enjoy a thing, you can still sponsor Asnuntuck, I think.
Yeah, there are fun ways.
Now, the golf tournament, though, is specifically linked to some specific golf scholarships, right?
There is a scholarship opportunity.
Okay.
So basically, if if this particular business chooses to be the scholarship or a scholarship sponsor,
Okay.
we're not limiting. We could have as many scholarship
Sure,
sponsors
absolutely.
as people want to do. And actually, a good amount of that money does go directly to a student.
To a student.
And they're named ahead
All
of
of
time.
it does. Yeah.
They're named ahead of time, and the foundation matches it.
Yeah.
So.
Wonderful, wonderful. And that's always a nice, we usually do a breakfast, or we do a scholarship,
Yeah.
golf scholarship award ceremony when the students get to actually come in and thank the sponsors and receive their scholarship as well too. So, so very exciting. So those are our two big, what I would say, big fundraising events for Asnuntuck. I want to talk a little bit about smaller events. And Keith, talk to us a little about, you've done a lot of what I say innovative fundraising things. And it's not, those are not always about the dollar, but more about getting our name out there, creating awareness, student programs, different things like that. So just talk a little bit about some of those.
Well, I think it's important that the internal communication and the internal community of Asnuntuck is as well as a buy-in as the external community. So for our faculty and staff and students, some of these things are out of the realm for them to do, but they want to show their support. So we have a very strong annual appeal, and our faculty and staff are strong members of that annual appeal. They're donating regularly. And then we do fun things where we try to engage them. And so if you donate this month, you might get a free massage. If you donate this month, you'll get a gift card to Starbucks. And so every time there's always something different happening. But we're doing other events like paint and sips. And then we're utilizing our program in massage therapy and aesthetics, and we do sip and spas, and we do different things that we can showcase our programs, but bring the community in at the same time. And they've proven very successful. You know, we've had comedians, and we've had a bunch of different things. So different ways to get people involved, but also to show their support to Asnuntuck. And I think for us, that's been really great. The annual appeal has been really successful. Our alums are very generous. And when we talk about those scholarship dollars and we talk about those barriers, I mean, we're giving out, between manufacturing scholarships and regular scholarships, nearly $75,000 a year in scholarships to students.
When you think about that impact of $75,000
Right.
for students to go to
That's
school.
huge.
Yeah,
And
it's
do we
huge.
have a number of students that goes to, or more just the dollar figure?
No, between 40 to 50 students
40
will
to 50
receive that
students,
amount.
wow.
Some there's as little as 500 and as much as 3,000 to 5,000.
Sure.
Especially with some of the golf support, the manufacturing support that we get to support that. So I think, you know, we've always looked at beefing up our continuing education program, and so now we're able to offer continuing education scholarships because those programs aren't eligible for financial aid, but still a massage therapy program at minimum, and the very reasonable rate is at $9,000 a year, the cheapest in the state, I believe, for a quality program, but still not attainable for those people sometimes to afford it. But now we're able to help them.
Sure. And those
So,
are licensure and
licensed
credential
programs.
so it gives you a state license or a national credential. So as long as it's workforce development related, and
Yeah.
there's a credential attached to it, that can qualify for scholarships as well
Absolutely.
too. So that's wonderful. And other scholarships. I know it's not just the golf tournament, it's not just the murder mystery, but there's somebody in the community who says, I want to do a scholarship, and I want to do it in the name of someone that I may have lost or in the past. Talk to me about those kind of scholarships.
Oftentimes where we work with families that have had a lost one or want to honor someone, and I'll give some wonderful examples. I want to shout out to the Dardanelli family, who've had a couple losses in the last years, and they really want to honor their husband, the late father, and so they took money from donations and then established a scholarship fund.
So establish scholarship in his name.
In his name, in the
and
field of where he
remembrance.
worked, which was a corrections officer, so they want to support criminal justice.
Sure, okay.
It makes sense.
So
Completely
someone
makes
can not
sense.
only name a scholarship, but then they can decide what type of student that scholarship goes to in
Absolutely.
a certain program. Or
Donor
in a-
directed, absolutely.
Donor directed. So there's options, and that's something I think some people don't realize sometimes, that you can have direct say in where my money's going, what type of student can get it. I know we've had other students that are either in nursing programs or medical programs, and there's usually a unique story connected to that scholarship.
Always is.
With whether someone had a loss or someone had success in a business, and they want to give back to the community, back to students, back to education.
Wonderful example of that is the Miller family here in Enfield, Connecticut.
Absolutely.
The Millers, both Mary Beth and Charles, want to honor their dad. and or they're actually looking for a creative Christmas present, to say Charles's terms.
Well, you should be. Don't let the cat out of the bag here. For
oh no, they're
if
aware
it's a
of
surprise.
it.
Okay.
It's not a surprise. We awarded it last year. We'll be awarding it again this year.
Excellent, yes.
So they made a contribution in honor of their dad. And this way, they're involved in giving back to the community, giving back to Asnuntuck, but honoring their dad. And Raymond was happy to come last year and present the scholarship. That's the other part of it. You know, you get to have that instantaneous communication with that student. So there are some wonderful examples of that, and there are wonderful stories attached to it. But I think at most, when you translate it, you're helping a student. And I think that's the best part of it.
And that leads right into my next question, is kind of community partnerships. Talk a little bit about community partnerships and how we've partnered with different companies, because there's that individual, there's that family giving, there's that remembrance, but then also the next step up is really looking at corporations and looking at some of the larger gifts. And I'm going to start right off with our largest donation to Asnuntuck's foundation in our history was United Bank.
Yes.
And that $100,000, and they were able to really decide how that $100,000, what it was going to be spent on, and how it was going to be used to benefit the community and the students. Explain that a little bit so that we get that higher level.
So we proposed to United Bank a variety of options of where dollars could be supported, and they chose supporting our Academic Skills Center. And our Academic Skills Center is really one of those wonderful operations that removes those barriers as far as students dropping out of school or feeling they're going to fail. It helps with retention rate. It gives them that positivity. It's a homework lab. It's a computer center. It's a tutor center.
And free tutors.
Free
and
tutors.
all of our
Everything is
disciplines for
covered.
students.
So that support from United Bank allows us as Asnuntuck in these hard budget times to continue those support to our students. So that's what they chose to support for 4 years at that level. Can't do it without them. You can't offer these opportunities to these students without those community support.
Sure. And as the state continues to cut our budgets and so forth, it's harder to maintain those support services.
It's imperative.
And I absolutely agree with you. Our Academic Skills Center is something near and dear to me. It truly is where students can go, free support, free tutors to help them. And also something near and dear to me is our youngest students on campus. And there was another company that wanted to invest in early childhood education, and talk a little bit about that gift.
Sure. So we've worked. There's actually 2 of those in that area.
I think we might have some photos on that as well too.
Yeah.
Correct, for the reading room. And
So there's two stories with that. One of the gifts that we got right here. This is from Holly Brunette, who is one of our graduates from our Women's Leadership Program, was charged with the civic program, the social action program to go in the community. So she used our Head Start program, our children's reading room program, to do a fundraiser with children on tricycles, with laps.
And they were doing
how many
laps.
So they would raise money. The money raised from there actually went to help Enfield Head Start.
Yes.
Shortly thereafter, we received another gift from the Enfield Parents Teacher Association to us right there of about $250 in cash, another $250 in goods for our
reading room and for our children. And
it's
everything.
just, you know,
So
it's sort of like the world comes right back at you. And we weren't expecting that, we weren't looking for that.
Sure.
But people are noticing what we're doing. We're not only supplying, like I said, the things we are doing are good things. They naturally transcend into better community.
Absolutely. And it may sound, I had someone recently say to me, well, that raised, $200, or is that really having an impact? And I tried to explain to someone, sometimes that $100 textbook can be the difference on whether a student takes the class or not. So having those little, we've helped out students with an electric bill or car trouble or transportation or bus passes or, so really any level of giving or any level of fundraising. And I absolutely love the story of our youngest students there, because it really, to them, they knew, and they were doing laps in our gymnasium, and every circle they went around, they knew that some said, I'm raising 50 cents every time I drive around. It's another 50 cents, another 50 cents. Well, that equated to several hundreds of dollars they raised.
$650.
$650. And then they gave it to Enfield, to the younger students in our community here, and then so forth. They gave back to us. So again, that really is the true concept of learning. It's about giving also, and not just about receiving. So I love that story with that as well. The other piece with our students, again, we talk about barriers, we talk about education, we talk about childcare. Something we discovered recently in the last year or two is students struggling with food insecurities. And I don't think I realized how prevalent it was even on our campus. And what happened was we had some observations of some individuals overhearing students' conversations, telling each other, go to so-and-so's office around lunchtime because she or he has candy on their desk. or you might get leftover pizza after this event or that event. And we started realizing that literally students are going meal to meal, some are skipping meals. And if you're trying to study and you're trying to really focus in on a paper or what you're working on, and you're hungry and your stomach's growling, you're not going to be able to focus in.
You.
So as we look at this and as we did some surveys across campus, we found out it was a much bigger issue. And that's where Miller Family Farm stepped up and ShopRite. I mean, wonderful family has helped us. We ended up putting in our own food pantry right on campus. And even the contractor, G. Donovan Associates, who we asked them to help us, renovate this room, renovate this space, put some shelves up and so forth. They came back and said, we're donating our services for this because you're opening a food pantry. And the Miller Family Farm helped fill the food pantry. It really was just coming together, everybody bringing in donations, everything from diapers to non-perishable goods. And we have watched that. Now we're members of Food Share.
Yes, we are.
Through our foundation, and we're able to purchase food, I think, on whether it's 20 cents on a dollar, whatever it is. Each week I watch that food pantry get filled, and I'm amazed by Friday or in the late afternoons on Thursdays I'll walk by there and the food pantry is almost empty. I mean, so it shows me how many, we've hundreds of students have now signed up for it, for the services, and they're able to go in and get so many items per month, and then there's unlimited grab and go items for lunch if they're hungry during class time and different things. So, I mean, truly, there's another example of being able to give and truly receive goods and services for our students. And I can't tell you how exciting that makes me. The other thing I really want to talk about, and as I'm cognizant of our time, we've got a couple minutes left of our show, I want to talk a little bit about our new front. We have been able to, through bonding dollars, to be able to invest $40 million in the last 2 years into Asnuntuck. We have put up a new glass tower on the front of the school, and we have some pictures here real quick because I know I'm running out of time, but I want to show the tower. There's our new tower on the front of the school. Whole student space for our student senate, our student government, our activities clubs. It's all a student focused space, etc. And I think we have some additional photos of the inside of the interior for that. But really, just a wonderful addition, a wonderful expansion. And lastly, there's the tower from up in the sky, and there's the inside photos. And in our back 35 acres, we just opened a new 27,000 square foot advanced manufacturing technology center building, which we're thrilled about. We're taking our student population in advanced manufacturing from 200 students up to 500 students, and there it is right there. Brand new, just opened this past year, state of the art, 100 different pieces of equipment, electromechanical, welding, fabrication, CNC machining, and so forth. So my little plug, my little commercial at the end, check out Asnuntuck, check out our program offerings and everything that we have to offer, and really take a look at our foundation has a page, a web page, so go on our web page. You can purchase tickets for the murder mystery right there as well. And in our final seconds, any final words from you guys as far as giving and how to get involved?
I would say that if you want to be part of a committee, you can join the Murder Mystery Committee, you can join the Golf Committee, which is fabulous to really get involved as a starting point.
Absolutely agree. And Keith,
and if you
10 seconds?
If you want to make a difference and change a life, make a donation. Support a student, help take away some of those barriers.
Absolutely. And that is really wrapping up our show today. And I just want to tell all the viewers, get involved, check out our foundation webpage, check out Asnuntuck Community College, all of our new additions, and Asnuntuck's mission and what we're all here for is to change lives. So thank you for joining us today on Changing Lives. President James Lumbella, Chris Casey, Keith Madore. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, Jim.
If you want a plan for the future, we can help your dreams come true. A degree that gets you the right job. It's affordable and easy for you. Asnuntuck Community College. Friendly people that know who you are. Asnuntuck Community College. A college so close that can take you so far. So close it can take you so far.